YouTube, what's going on, y'all? Today, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Merc Studios. Today, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be talking about color in your designs. Color is a big part and impacts like the visual perception that people have on your branding and your brand. So we're gonna be talking about that a little in depth today. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start off with the first topic: color theory. So basically, color theory is basically how your colors like interact in your designs. Well, I don't really want to say designs because color theory is used for anything from across movies to across videos, photos, design. Yeah, it's like a big part of like visual communication as a whole. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. So examples of color theory would be, I know I had a class and we talked about very monochromatic colors. And that kind is basically, it uses one color, but it's like different shades and tones and tints to build a contrast as opposed to different colors. So for me, that's more like real corporate looking and real, you know what I mean? I don't want to say boring, but yeah, it's a little boring. It's you can get a little more creative with it, you feel me? Also, I would say I see a lot more use of color theory in the use of fashion. I'll say I've seen multiple, I guess, fashion designers use the contrast of bright colors against each other to create like this kind of, I've seen a lot of browns and oranges and pinks and blues and reds and greens and stuff like that. That's why we've seen a lot and more in like mainly streetwear fashion. All right, so next topic is basically how I choose my colors in my design. So specifically, I stick to graphic design. As y'all know, I have multiple creative outlets. I do a lot of photography too, and videography. I'm starting to get big into that too. But what I'm known for on this channel is the design and mainly merch design, like t-shirts and stuff like that. So I'm gonna show y'all how I choose my colors for a design I have for my client right now. Okay, so basically what we have here is kind of like a loose mood or board that I would use for some of my clients, just to talk about and show them how I'm thinking creatively. So with this project, what we did is we had multiple inspirations from these specific streetwear brands. Now I don't know what brands these are, where they came from, the fashion designer behind them or the graphic designer behind them. So shout out to them for this, but they used inspiration. And then we did, like, prior to working with this client before, I did like sort of a, it was sort of inspired by anti-war propaganda. So for this drop, we kind of wanted to keep the same kind of visual language, if that makes sense. So what I did is I chose some war propaganda posters and I used that as inspiration. And I chose some of the brands inspiration, like layout for this hoodie design as inspiration. And basically what I would do in Illustrator is I would go and I would, as you can see here, I made 5 boxes. You can do a little less. It kind of is a little better if you did less rather than more, because it makes it easier just to make a complete color palette. But basically, as I chose 5 blank boxes for the poster side and 5 blank boxes for the shirt side or the garment side. So you want to go and press I on the keyboard, which is the shortcut for the eyedropper tool. And basically, you just want to select your box and eyedrop the colors that stand out to you in the inspiration. So really what I'm seeing as these reds in the design, and this is if you're using inspiration, this is mainly how I get my like color palettes based off my inspiration. So we'll go with this green. Let's choose this. I like this yellowish kind of color. I also like this. It's like navy blue. It's a very dark navy blue. And then we can also go with this kind of cream color. I don't know if I want to choose this one. Maybe this kind of cream color. Okay. So now we have our color palettes based on these. And then let's go color palettes based on the garment. we want the actual fabric of the merchandise to be colored as. So we got this off-white kind of gray kind of color. I like that as well. And it's also to switch back to your select tool, you press V. I like this camo kind of color. But camo has multiple colors, so I'm probably just gonna choose this brown. Maybe let's get like a deeper brown in that. Yeah, that looks good. Then let's do this. I like this green color. Yep. And maybe this yellow color right here. Look good. Okay. And then I like this kind of soft red here, kind of burgundy contrast. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, so basically this is how I choose like a foundation for a color palette, because you could just use this color palette and completely just like, I want to say rip it from the inspiration, but you can just go with this color palette right here that you choose either or. But what I like to do is I like to mix the color palettes that I just chose between the two to make one color palette. Or you can alter some of the tones and shades of the colors that you chose in the design or in the inspiration. So right here I have a free tone color palette opened on the side. This is inspired off the Pantone colors. I think some kind of way it was like you have to pay for them or they was licensed or something like that. So you couldn't use the Pantone colors that you could have used on older versions of Adobe Illustrator, but I chose to use this thing called Freetone. I guess it's called a plugin called Freetone, and it gave me all these tones and shades and tints of colors to play around with. So that's why I chose to use this. It's a very good tool, especially when you're talking about color and designs and things of that nature. So if we go over to the finished design of the clients that we chose, so you see that I chose this color palette from the same inspiration that I had, but I kind of altered it subtly. Like I altered the red subtly. I think the orange or the yellow is kind of still the same, but I altered it slightly just to kind of fit what I'm doing. So I feel like that's a good kind of simple two-tone color palette you can use. And then again, for the garments, I kind of use like kind of wash, kind of black, and then the wash kind of yellow kind of look to it. But in a nutshell, that's pretty much how I do it for designs and for my clients. Yeah, just giving y'all a little insight on it if some designs out there are struggling. And by no means am I the best designer out here. Still learning. I'm still encountering projects that challenge me as a designer. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, again, thank y'all for watching. Also, if y'all want to see what I've been up to, watch this video right here. I've been getting subtly into like videography and like video making and things of that nature and photography. So if y'all want to check that out, by no means am I a commission freelancer for that. But if y'all want to check that out, some of my work is linked right up here. And I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.